Welcome to another episode of the Nigerian File. I am your host, August Badagry. I actually did a proper video yesterday, but unfortunately the adapter I need to transfer the video to my computer is nowhere to be found. So, until I find that, I will not be putting out that video. But, here's something for you guys anyway. So I've been thinking, in light of the election season in Nigeria, the presidential general election just completed, and now the gubernatorial and municipal and congressional races underway in Nigeria. And unfortunately, more of the same shenanigans that occurred during the presidential election is occurring now. Voter intimidation, threats, violence, dismay, disruption, etc. Hopefully, this will be only temporary and the elections will be able to be completed and the country intact, and so it can move forward one way or the other, because ultimately it has to. Nigeria really cannot afford another civil war. The people in Nigeria, living in Nigeria, who just can't pick up and escape or go elsewhere abroad, need a functional government, both at the federal level as well as the state and local level. And that brings me to the topic of this particular podcast. It reminds me of something I read in a book by Thomas P. O'Neill, who was the former Speaker of the House of Representatives of the United States, state of Massachusetts. And he uttered a line which read, and was in his book as well, "All politics is local." It took me a while to really understand what that meant, even though he took a whole chapter in his book to explain it. Essentially what it means is that while the presidential elections of a country and even the congressional elections or parliamentary elections may get a lot more fanfare, really what we should be at the beginning for the average citizen be focused on are really our local elections, whether it be local area government, mayor, school council, whatever the case may be. That governmental office closest to you in terms of influential proximity. For example, while the president of whatever country you're in is important, what's most important is really the things that affect you day in, day out. For example, is your trash being picked up? Are your street lights working? Okay? Do you have drinkable water in your area? Do you have electricity? Those are basic stuff that are really ultimately handled at the local level. Okay? Are you secure in your home? If you have an accident, okay, does your particular local area government or city or town have the wherewithal and infrastructure to at least get you to a clinic so you don't die on the street? And so those are the things that are really the most important, okay? Because if those are not in place, it doesn't really matter who's governor, it doesn't really matter who's president, okay? And so at the end of the day, once the president is sworn in Nigeria and the states, governors and congressional senators and House of Representatives, representatives, local area government, what have you, are in place, it really will be, are these people in these offices serving the people within their jurisdiction? As you, me, whomever may be living in the respective cities, neighborhoods, towns across the country. So that's what's going to be paramount. So not to minimize any of the disruption, chaos really that has been part of the electoral process. Just a reminder that at the end of the day, we must not forget that ultimately all politics is local. Let me know what you think in the comments.